KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all. What? KP's Video News, y'all. It's KP's Video News, y'all.
That's right, folks. KP's Video News. I haven't done a show in a minute, so there was some issues here that seems as though they needed to, I needed to address these issues. A couple of them, as a matter of fact. You know, one story is about Donald the Offensive Trump. One story we got, you know, another story about Justin Jones and Justin Pearson getting reinstated. And we have another story about the black man in Minnesota that got killed by the police. Okay, I'm going to start off with the Fed story here. Okay. The Feds alert a judge to Trump's "if you go after me, I'm coming after you" post. And prosecutors on Friday night called the judge's attention to a social media post from Donald Trump issued hours earlier, in which they say the former president appeared to declare that he's coming after those he sees as responsible for the series of formidable legal challenges he's facing. Attorneys from special counsel Jack Smith's team said the post from Donald Trump specifically or by implication referenced those involved in his criminal case for seeking to obstruct the 2020 election. In a court filing just before 10 p.m. Friday, Senior Assistant Special Counsel Molly Gaston and Tom Wyndham alerted the judge in Trump's latest criminal case. U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan to a combative post Trump sent earlier in the day. "If you go after me, I'm coming after you," Trump wrote in all caps Friday afternoon on Truth Social, which is run by a media company he co-owns. The prosecutors said Trump's post raised concerns that he might inappropriately and improperly share evidence in the case on his social media account, and they urged that he be ordered to keep any evidence from prosecutors turn over to his defense team from public view. All the proposed order seeks to prevent is the improper dissemination or use of discovery materials, including to the public, Gaston and Wyndham wrote. Such a restriction is particularly important in this case because the defendant has previously issued public statements on social media regarding witnesses, judges, attorneys, and others associated with legal matters pending against him. And in recent days, regarding this case, the defendant has issued multiple posts, either specifically or by implication, including the following, which the defendant posted just hours ago. Smith's office has not sought a gag order in either of the criminal cases it is pursuing against Trump. One in Florida focused on his retention of classified documents, and the other in Washington over his efforts to interfere with the certification of the 2020 presidential election. The filing Friday does not make any request to bar Trump or his attorneys from discussing the D.C. case publicly or with the media. However, prosecutors in the case have indicated they are prepared to share a substantial volume of evidence with Trump as soon as Chutkan approves an order governing the handling of the evidence. Chutkan is slated to bring attorneys of both sides to court on August 28th to discuss setting a trial date. It's unclear if Trump's post will prompt her to seek more immediate efforts to implement a protective order or to impose a gag order, which can be issued under D.C. federal court rules. Trump's Truth Social post came just one day after he swore in federal court that he would not make any effort to influence or retaliate against witnesses or make any other actions that might obstruct the administration of justice in his case. Asked by the magistrate judge on Tuesday to verify that he would comply with that instruction, Trump he acknowledged that he would. So, the judge, so breaking news is the judge orders Trump response to Jack Smith and amid crossfire over Trump's social media threat. Federal District Judge Tanya Chutkan has ordered ex-President Donald Trump's team to file a response to Special Counsel Jack Smith's motion amid dueling claims over the social media threat. News broke Friday that Smith reacted to a Trump Truth Social post, which said, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you," by filing a request for a protective order, arguing Trump's post could have a chilling effect on witnesses. In the motion, Smith wrote, "All the proposed order seeks to prevent is the improper dissemination or the use of discovered materials, including to the public. Such a restriction is particularly important in this case because the defendant has previously issued public statements on social media regarding witnesses, judges, attorneys, and others associated with legal matters pending against him. In recent days regarding the case, the defendant has issued multiple posts, either specifically or by implication, including the following, which the defendant posted hours ago. If the defendant were to begin issuing public posts using details or, for example, grand jury transcripts obtained in discovery here, it could have a harmful chilling effect on witnesses or adversely affect the fair administration of justice in this case." Yep. So, of course, his people lied and came back and allegedly lied and said that the post and denied it was intended as a threat, claiming the message was for the Rhino, China-loving, dishonest special interest groups and super PACs like the ones funded by the Koch brothers and the Club for No Growth. Smith's team included a proposed order for Federal District Judge Tanya Chutkan to sign if she approves it, which reads in part, "The defendant and defense counsel shall not disclose the materials or contents directly or indirectly to any person or entity other than persons employed to assist in the defense, persons who are interviewed as potential witnesses, counsel for potential witness, and other persons to whom the court may authorize disclosure. Collectively, authorized persons, potential witnesses, and their counsel may be shown copies of the materials as necessary to prepare the defense, but they may not retain copies without prior permission of the court." Today, Judge Chutkan ordered Trump's team to file a response as well as their own version of a proposed order, the judge wrote. And so the minute order as to Donald J. Trump, it is hereby ordered, this is the order, it is hereby ordered that by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, August 7th, 2023, the defendant shall file a response to the government's 10 motion for protective order stating defendant's position on the motion. If the defendant disagrees with any portion of the government's proposed protective order, ECF number 10-1, his response shall include a revised version of that protective order with any modifications in red line, signed by Judge Tanya Chutkan today on August 5th, 2023. So, hey, they already know that he's going to break the law. They already know it. And if you say that if you come after me, I'm coming after you, it's not a threat. That's what his people said. Listen to what I'm saying. This is what Donald Trump stated. If you come after me, I'm coming after you. So if you don't consider that a threat, then what you can't claim it to be anything else. What else could it possibly be? You're going to come and pick them up and take them out to dinner? Come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous that this guy is I don't know. It's just words. It's just so many words that I want to use that it just makes no sense, man, for anybody to be this delusional. Anyway, next story. Tennessee Democrats expelled from State House by the GOP win back their seats. That's right. The young black lawmakers were reinstated by local officials after being booted from the GOP-dominated state house, but only on an interim basis. Tennessee Reps Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, who became Democratic heroes as members of the Tennessee Three, reclaimed their legislative seats Thursday after they were expelled for involvement in a gun control protest on the House floor. The young black lawmakers were reinstated by local officials after being booted from the GOP-dominated state house, but only on an interim basis. They advanced Thursday through a special election to fully reclaim their positions. Both face opponents in districts that heavily favor Democrats. Jones, who lives in Nashville, was up against Republican candidate Laura Nelson. Meanwhile, Pearson from Memphis faced independent candidate Jeff Johnston. Let's send a clear message to everyone who thought they could silence the voice of District 86, Pearson tweeted early this month. You can't expel a movement. Thursday's election came as lawmakers are preparing to return to Nashville later this month for a special session to address possibly changing the state's gun control laws. While Jones and Pearson's reflection and reelection to their old posts won't make a significant dent to the Republican supermajority inside the legislature, they are expected to push back heavily against some GOP colleagues' policies. Jones and Pearson were elected to the State House last year, and both lawmakers flew relatively under the radar, even as they criticized their Republican colleagues' policies. It wasn't until this spring that their political careers received a boost when they joined fellow Democrat Gloria Johnson in a protest for more gun control on the House floor. The demonstration took place just days after a fatal shooting in Nashville at a private Christian school where a shooter killed 3 children and 3 adults, as thousands of protesters flooded the Capitol building to demand that the Republican supermajority enact some sort of restrictions on firearms. The 3 lawmakers approached the front of the House chamber with the bullhorn and joined the protesters with chants and cries for action. The Republican lawmakers quickly declared that their actions violated House rules and moved to expel the 3 colleagues, an extraordinary move that hasn't been taken only a handful of times since the Civil War, but more briefly left about 140,000 voters in primarily black districts in Nashville and Memphis with no representation in the Tennessee House. Ultimately, Johnson, who was white, narrowly avoided expulsion, while Pearson and Jones, who were both black, were booted by the predominantly white GOP caucus. House Republican leaders have repeatedly denied that race was a factor, and Democrats have disagreed, with Johnson counting that the only reason that she wasn't expelled was due to being white. And expulsions drew national support and for the newly dubbed Tennessee Three, especially for Pearson and Jones' campaign fundraising. The two raised more than $2 million combined throughout about 70,000 campaign donations from across the country. From across the country, man. So, these guys, they send a clear message, they're trying to send a clear message here. You guys got to stand up. You got to stand up for yourselves. Yep. Meanwhile, 15 Republican lawmakers had funneled cash to fund the campaign efforts for Jones' Republican opponent. Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Yep. So the Republicans had put all kind of funding into funding of Jones's Republican opponent, and Pearson's opponent, Johnston, raised less than $400. So they really didn't want him over there. I'm telling you, man, it's a way out stuff going on. Way out stuff going on. Yep. So, it's another crazy story, man. It went on up in Minnesota. Man, I'm telling you, man, Minnesota, Mississippi, what's the difference? You can't tell me the difference, because there is no difference. A family of a black man killed during a Minnesota traffic stop asked the governor to fire the troopers, and family members of Ricky Cobb, a black man who was shot and killed by a Minnesota state trooper, speak at a news conference outside Hennepin County Government Center in Minneapolis on Wednesday, and they joined members of activist groups in demanding that Minnesota's Democratic governor Tim Walz fire the 3 officers who were involved in stopping Cobb on Minneapolis freeway Monday, July 31st, which led to Cobb's demise. But yeah, so telling you, man, troopers had pulled Cobb over for a traffic stop early Monday on the Interstate 94 in Minneapolis, and body and dash cam video from the state patrols showed the tail lights were out on the Ford Fusion Cobb was driving. According to the head of Minnesota State Patrol, after stopping the car, the troopers tried to take Cobb into custody for allegedly violating a restraining order before fatally shooting him as he began driving away. So here's the guy driving away. He's no threat to you if he's driving away. He's absolutely positively no threat. He's leaving. If he's trying to run you over, that's something entirely different. That was a little sidebar. So Black Lives Matter Twin Cities and the Racial Justice Network, Black Lives Matter Minnesota, and Cobb's relatives gathered at the government center to demand that government Tim Walz fire the state troopers who were involved in Cobb's death, and that they would charge the officers in the case and issue warrant for their arrest. Circumstances simply did not require the use of deadly force. Those officers acted recklessly, and they must be held accountable. Civil rights attorney and founder of the Justice Network, Nakima Armstrong, stated. Cobb's mother, Naira Fields, described the pain she was enduring, that she has endured since her son passed away. She said she's exhausted and her heart is heavy for the last 3 days, and waking up she had migraine headaches. And the governor's office didn't immediately respond to a request, for an interview. But Walz did say earlier Wednesday on X, the social platform formerly called Twitter, that he had offered his condolences to Cobb's mother and ensured that a swift, thorough investigation was already begun, and we'll do everything we can to get to the bottom of what happened. On Monday, the troopers who checked Cobb's license found what Patrol Chief Colonel Matt Langer called a pickup and hold on Cobb, meaning the nearby Ramsey County Sheriff's Office suspected he committed a felony violation of a protection order and wanted to question him. Langer said troopers checked to make sure Ramsey County deputies still wanted Cobb, and then tried to get him to leave the car. When troopers opened his doors and attempted to pull him out, Cobb began driving with 2 troopers still hanging onto the sides of the car. Body and dash cam footage shows, and the trooper then shot him as he drove away. The Hennepin County coroner ruled Cobb's death a homicide caused by multiple gunshot wounds. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is investigating. The 3 troopers have been placed on administrative leave per state patrol policy. And Moriarty said that in a statement that Tuesday that her heart goes out to the Cobb family, and also knows the community continues to navigate the trauma and grief that results from police violence and the tragic loss of community members at the hands of law enforcement. No matter what the circumstances, she said, I know the community wants answers, and we'll work to swiftly provide those answers as soon as they can provide them. And don't forget, in May 2020, in Minneapolis, George Floyd situation happened, and that spoke the global protest movement and a nationwide reckoning on racism and policing. So this is what we're dealing with here today. This is what we're dealing with in this day and age. Hey, it's a crazy situation, man. A real crazy situation. Yep. I got to tell you folks, man, you got to go out there and you got to stay hydrated, man. This is what I'm drinking. I'm drinking this electrolyte water. This is what flavor is this? This is a coconut one. This is the best thing going, man. This is better than drinking water when the weather's extremely hot, or if you've been out doing a lot of exercising. Electrolyte water, man, is the thing to go, man. That's the way to go. Got to get your electrolytes, man, and build your stuff back up. And it's like if you look, you'll find some actually find some recipes online. And I had also made my own electrolyte water, so you can do that. Just go look, just just go out there and Google it, recipe for electrolyte water, and you'll be surprised, man. It's real simple. One of the main ingredients is actually salt. Okay. All right, folks, you know who it is. You know who it is. It's KP's Video News, y'all. KP's Video News, y'all. So do what you got to do, y'all. And enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend, folks.